All you puppy dogs, behave. Behave, okay? Mama's on live. Good morning, friends. Oh, I'm going to have my own feedback. Let me close out of Facebook. Oh, no, I didn't want to close out of Facebook. Good morning, friends. I need to close out of somewhere else. I have my own feedback. Let me close out of Facebook. Oh, no, I didn't want to close out of Facebook. Good morning. I don't know what I'm doing. This is what happens when you schedule something for a different time than what you're used to. I'm just all discombobulated. But good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a foggy, chilly, overcast morning here in Iowa today, and I had to come a little early to our coffee chat than our usual scheduled time because my little blind little puppy dog Harley has a vet appointment this morning, and I couldn't reschedule, and it's important that he goes and gets his stuff. Good morning, Hugo Homestead. It is a beautiful day. I just shared in my cancer support group, I shared a saying, and of course, now that I closed out Facebook, I can't even go over now and remember exactly how it went. But it said something along the lines of, make sure you finish out every day with something of gratitude. And then you start the new day having finished the last day with gratitude. Even if the day is bad, find something to be grateful about before you go to sleep. And that way, when you wake up in the morning, you're starting your day with gratitude. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Daz. Just packed up for bed and then this happens. I know, Daz, I'm sorry. I threw a wrench in the deal again yet, didn't I? I was explaining I have to do it early. I might switch it to this earlier time. I tell you, when I do 10 o'clock in the morning, I did it so that the people in Mountain Time and Central Time, it wouldn't be too early for them. But then I'm waiting till 10 o'clock in the morning to try to have coffee. Maybe I need to go on right after Chris from E3 Farmstead. So speaking of Chris, he said he might pop in here later today in the live here. I want to give a shout out to Chris over at E3. One, for still speaking to me after I semi-hijacked his live this morning. I didn't mean to, but I did. I got up on a soapbox. I kind of shared some of my feelings about some things, jumped off the soapbox, jumped back up on the soapbox and started talking about my live was going to be changing the time. So sorry, Chris, for hijacking your live this morning, but I want to give you a shout out because since Chris already shared this live, I will share it. He's having some wonderful, wonderful feedback on a lot of the medical milestones that he is reaching. Personal goals are being met after being set, and he's doing really, really great. So I want to give him a big shout out and virtual hugs because he's doing so great. Good morning, garden therapy, kitchen garden therapy. Forgive me, everybody. It's too early in the morning to remember everybody's names. I'm so bad at it. Just after 2:30 in England, Paul. Great timing. Wonderful. So look at everybody popping in early in the morning. I like it. Maybe I'll change my time. We'll see. But I've got to take my little blind dog to the vet. So he's going to get poked a couple times and get some shots. And that way he can go to the groomer and look all gorgeous. Oh, this coffee is so good. Hello, Chris. I just gave you a little shout out, telling everybody just how proud we are of you, of all of your accomplishments lately. Huga, Homestead, CB. It will take me 10 times to remember that, even if I write it down. Good morning, Ann, from the Ann Lynn Show. Everybody's popping in. Okay, so I've got a couple interesting things to share with you guys. First of all, this is always a mess back here. And I always try to clean it up before I come on for my lives. And somebody said, well, if you clean it up, then that just kind of, how do I put this kindly? You're fake. Need to let everybody see the real you. Don't be fake. We can spot a fake from a mile away. Okay, well, so there it is. Crochet hooks, blood sugar supplies, coffee, water, pen, Okay, so my husband still has his Coke bottle there for his Coke can from earlier. Good morning, Grace and Fire. So, but we're going to get recliners soon, and I don't know what I'm going to do without my center console. And this is all my crochet. It's not dirty laundry, but I wanted to share. It looks staged. It's a mess. It's a mess. It looks staged. I love it. I'm just going to go with that. My life from now on is just staged. So it'll kind of be a shorter coffee chat this morning because I will have to get, I'm already dressed. I'm not coming to you in my pajamas, but I do have to get things ready for Harley to go to the vet, before his appointed time. If you ain't got any clutter, then you have a TV studio. It's true. I don't have a TV studio. Anyways, I found something this week that I wanted to share with you because I thought it was so neat. And I've been meaning to share it. And I've had it up on this little shelf up here. And then I have my lives and I forget to share it. So I grabbed it today because I wanted to bring it down and share it with you because I thought it was the neatest thing. It's not something that I just found. I've had it for years and years and years and years. And I always thought it was pretty neat that I had this. But now it's taken on new meaning to me, and I wanted to share it to you. Oh, thank you. I look marvelous. Speaking of marvelous, remind me to tell you about my bedhead video that'll be coming out soon. Anyways, I have this little Bible. Do you see how old this little Bible is? It is so old. And I have some things of my grandmother's, my mother's mother. And I don't know where she was born, but she lived here in Iowa before they were married. And then they lived the majority of their life together here in Iowa. And I've always had this little Bible of hers. And I also have her choir book, her hymn book from when I don't know what church she attended, but she wrote out, it was just a pad of paper and she wrote out all of the hymns and then she would take it to church and they would sing their songs. They didn't have hymn books. She wrote out her stuff. And so I've always had this little Bible of hers. And I thought, okay, so a little background. I loved my grandma very much. She passed away when I was 8, maybe 9. I must have been 9. And I wasn't super close to her, but I loved her. She was always very frail. My grandpa, I was extremely close to my grandpa. Extremely close. How close? I was so close to my grandpa, and I love that man so much that when he passed away, I intentionally had another baby to honor my grandpa by continuing on the circle of life in honor of my grandpa. And that baby was due on his birthday, but because of C-section stuff, I had to have him a couple days before. But I really loved and adored my grandpa. And so I've always kind of felt like, oh, I've got my grandma's Bible and it's kind of neat. And so the other day when I located it and I wanted to put it on this little shelf up here in my farmhouse living room, I thought I'm going to look through and see if she ever wrote anything in the margins. Did she ever highlight anything in here? Did she ever mark anything in here? And I don't find anything. But and I always knew she had her picture in here. So this is her picture. Let's see if I can get a really nice little picture of my grandma. Look at that 1920s wave for her hairdo. And those glasses, those 1920 glasses. So she's always had her picture in here. So, that way I thought it would be identifiable as her Bible. But I found an inscription in it this week. And it says, may this be your inner guide. Or no, your ever. May this be your ever guide. Love Gertie. 6/25/1927. And it dawned on me. This is my grandpa's Bible. It's my grandpa's Bible. It's not my grandma's Bible. It's my grandpa's. She put her picture in it for him. And then she wrote this little inscription. Oh, because of the light, you probably won't be able to see it. Right there. She wrote this little inscription. May this be your ever guide. Love, Gertie. And then she wrote something. It's like an acronym, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what the acronym is. So maybe you guys can help me with it. ITSUB. ITSUB. I don't know what it means. Was it a secret love language between the two? Is it something that was popular to say back in the 20s? I think Sioux City Sue is unbelievably beautiful. My middle name is Sue. I don't know, but I thought it was really neat that I've had this Bible for decades. And here all this time I thought it belonged to my grandma and it belonged to my grandpa. So it's all the more special because it belonged to my grandpa. It has my grandma's picture in it and it has her handwriting in it. And she signed it Gertie. And all of my life, my mother always said my grandma did not like her name Gertrude because people called her Gertie, because then they call her Dirty Gertie. But here in her own hand, she signed this book, this Bible, and gave it out of love to my grandfather before they were married and signed it Gertie. So my car is named Dirty Gertie. I named it after my grandma. But I just wanted to share with you that I got this little Bible. I thought it was so great. Good morning, Tim. Oh, Daz is a great mod. He'll throw all kinds of links out there. Oh, and she was beautiful. She was so frail, though. She was so frail. I remember that all my life. She was just so frail. I see things on social media now. I'm gonna sit this back here and hope I don't spill my coffee on it. I see things on social media of people playing pranks on people and everything, and I tend to be that negative Nancy. She went to go sit down one time, and somebody pulled the chair out from under her before she sat down. She hit so hard that it actually damaged her kidney. One of her kidneys were damaged, and she just had trouble all of her life. And it had something to do with the way that the kidney was seated in her innards. Something detached, and it just really messed her up. Oh my goodness, is it really? In the sacred unfailing being. It's a KKK sig. Let's hope it's something maybe in Latin that means something else. Oh my gosh, Margie, that's distressing. That is totally distressing. Why would she write something like that in a Bible? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move on from that onto my other news. Oh, that's distressing. Obviously, I didn't know what it meant. And obviously, that isn't the way I believe, or else I wouldn't have said it. Oh my gosh. Oh. Let's hope it was used for something other than that. And maybe it was adopted by them or adapted by them later. I don't know. Anyways, in other news, because that is distressing. I learned last night, gosh, watch now watch this turn into something really jaw-dropping. Papa Jim and I were planning these little vacations, right? We're planning little destinations. We're stuffing the cupcake every week to save money to go on a vacation. And one of the spots we wrote down, but is not on our, what do you call it, your triptychs, is Hot Springs, Arkansas. We want to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you let me know, Margie, because I didn't know, because I'd be walking around going blah, 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 and not even know what it was. Which I have a terrible tendency to do. Oh, anyways, Papa Jim and I were married in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So we thought it'd be nice to go back to Hot Springs, Arkansas and see what it looks like 40 years later and revisit like where our little apartment was and all of these things. We'll go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so it's on our list to visit at some point, but not this go around. And so I've been going online and seeing little things to do in different places. So I pulled up Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I learned that Hot Springs, Arkansas is a national park, and it's the only national park that actually has a city in the national park like that. And I turned to Papa Jim. I said, "Did you know this? Did you know it was national park?" He's like, "Well, yeah." And he was born there. So he was born there. We were married there. He's like, "Well, yeah." It's like, he goes, "Didn't you know it was a park? Didn't you know it was a national park?" It's like, "Well, I remember hearing something about, but I thought it was like out in the Ozarks part or out in the lake part. I didn't know where we actually lived and got married was in a national park." I didn't know all this time I was actually married in a national park. I thought that was so interesting. Good morning, Homestead Family Reclaim. So I I thought it was really neat. And I was watching these things about Hot Springs, Arkansas. I really kind of got a little sad because when we lived there, I didn't realize there were all of these wonderful things to go see and do. And I asked him, I said, why did we not do these things when we lived there? Many of them are free because it's a national park and we lived in it. He's like, I don't know. I guess it just didn't interest us. And it's true. We were very young. So I'm sure touring, the old hot springs and the bathhouses and the national parks and the trails, sure, none of that appealed to us. I'll tell you what did appeal to me was the duck. They have these tours and they're the ducks, and it's those amphibious open air like things that you drive around in. It's like this big SUV, and it's shaped funny, and they drive around and give you tours, and then it just drives right into the lake, and then it's amphibious. And I always wanted to do one. When we were so poor, we couldn't afford to do it. And so I said, when we go back, we're going to ride the duck. So I just thought that was really neat to find out all these neat things about the hot springs. And I guess one of the hot springs where the water comes out, it's like 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will burn you. So, but we're going to go back. We're going to, one of these times, go back to where we were married and go check all that. But I just thought it was really neat to A, find out that that Bible belonged to my grandpa, and B, find out that I was married in a national park. I thought that was pretty cool. Been on them in Branson. Branson's on our list this time. It's actually on our spinny wheel. And I figured if we ended up in Branson, we might end up going on one of those ducks. So we'll see. We'll see. And the Wisconsin Dells. My kids have been to Wisconsin Dells, but I've not been to the Wisconsin Dells. Good morning, Laura. So, anyways, another thing to share with you guys. And if you didn't see Saturday's cupcake stuffing where we're stuffing the piñata, I want to let you guys know. Now, don't everybody get all crazy. Don't get all excited. Don't start filling up the chat with all kinds of ideas, because I need this to be somewhere else. But Papa Jim and I have a new dog. We have a new dog. And this little dog is going to go with us on our travels. The other dogs will stay here. They'll either be kenneled or cared for at the house. But this new dog, ducks are converted military vehicles. Thank you, Tiny Tim. Yeah, 140 degrees, 40 degrees is hot, huh? And Anne says she loves Branson. It's on the list, and I'm kind of hoping that it gets pulled that way. But we spin every week. We have 5 destinations on our spinning wheel, and we spin every week. And whatever it says, we write it on a Post-it note and we shove it in the cupcake. And eventually I'm not going to be able to keep track of what's ahead as far as choices to go. But right now it looks like Mount Rushmore's in the lead. So we have Mount Rushmore, Chicago by train, Branson, Nashville, Tennessee, and Mackinac Island. Good morning, our Okie Homestead. Okay, so we have a new dog, and I need help naming our new dog. So this new dog is our mascot. This new dog will be going with us on our little travel vlogs when we travel anywhere. Ooh, there's a squirrel. And so we're going to name our dog. And so this started because we're going to be doing a murder mystery, kind of almost like a scavenger hunt murder mystery. You use your phone, and it gives you coordinates in a town, and you go all over the town on a walking tour. And when you get to the coordinates, you solve a riddle, and then you get a witness statement on your phone, and it tells you hints about the murder. Well, I figured if we're going to be like a CSI unit, we needed a canine for our canine unit. So we have a dog. So this is our dog. It's a wiener dog in a bun. Isn't it cute? Now, Papa Jim and I are going to dress up like barbecue chefs, like backyard barbecue chefs. And because we're going to have a team name for this murder mystery to solve it. So we're going to be Recipe for Murder. We grill our suspects low and slow. So we have a mascot. And I thought, let's not just take this little canine unit on our murder mystery, but I think we're going to take him everywhere we go. So we're going to take him to Branson or to Hot Springs or to Mount Rushmore, and he'll be in our little pictures. He'll photobomb us every once in a while. I can't tell because he's in a bun. I don't know if it's male or female. You can submit male, female, or neutral names. Doesn't matter to me. But I think this next week, Papa Jim and I are actually going to make a little video so we can have a little contest to name our dog. And then we'll give you a shout out when we have our dog with us. But I'm going to get, next time I go to the store, I'm going to get a little Chihuahua collar that'll fit around his little neck and a leash. And then we're going to walk him around. And on the leash, every place we go, we're going to see about getting a hat pin, and we'll put the hat pins on the leash. So it's kind of like a little walking, not tribute, catalog, a photo album. What do I want to call it? Where I'm going to just put all the little pins on it and you'll know what it is. Oh my goodness. So you have to think of some names for my little hot dog, my wiener. Name my wiener. Look at the mustard and the ketchup on his back. I need to take the tag off though. The tag distresses me. But you know what else I discovered? I thought while we're out and about doing things and we've got this little guy, let's say we get mugged and somebody steals our wallet. Like if we end up in Chicago or something strange, we can shove a 20. We can shove a 20 in his buns. And that could be a little emergency stash. I think when we're walking around, I don't think the 20 will fall out. So we'll have a little, we'll stuff his bun with some money. Buns. I think he's adorable. So there's that. Now, I want to give a shout out to Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farms because she reached her big milestone this week. She got 1,000 subscribers. She is well on her way. So very, very happy for Lisa. If you guys are not following Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farms, make sure you go over and give her a howdy do, subscribe your channel if you like what she's got, and tell her that Country Mama sent you. And we gave a shout out Colonel Mustard. That is Professor Plum. You know, that's funny because when people go on these murder mysteries, Margie, when people go on these murder mystery things and they choose their team name, they dress up in costumes. That's why Papa Jim and I are going to have costumes. And a lot of the times people dress up as all the characters from Clue. And so I had two names tucked away for this little doggy, and Colonel Mustard was one of them, but I wanted to put it out there to everybody. Colonel Mustard's already been suggested though. So, but we can still keep doing things like that. Show us your buns. Works perfectly for my humor. Yes, it does. Brain fart. You guys know it's difficult for me to shut up and not have anything to say, and all of a sudden, everything just flew out of my brain. Yes, Yogi Hollow. Go over, visit Yogi Hollow. Tell her I said hello. Subscribe if you like what you see. And same with Chris over at E3 Farmstead. We were talking about how he has reached some great goals that he shared earlier during his life. Go on over, give him some love. Say, hey, Country Mama showed me her buns and said to come on over and say hello. And then we have to hope that Sarah doesn't see or hear that and then slap him. It's all in good fun. Anyways, I edited a video that's going to come out tomorrow. I uploaded it for tomorrow. And it's my French onion soup video. And last week, I think it was after our Inspector Wiener, Tiny Tim, make sure when you get that contest going, you put it there. I'm not going to be able to keep track. Oh, Daz and I, we blow each other's minds all the time. All the time. I won't tell you what I named my little teddy bear that Papa Jim got me when I was 15, because that was a terrible name. Just like I don't understand what things mean sometimes. I did not understand what I meant when I named this dog. And I kept calling this little dog this little name. And people were like, that doesn't mean what you think it means. It did. I may seem naughty, but I'm innocent in so many ways. But go over and give Chris some love as well. So those are the two channels that I kind of really wanted to make sure that I hit on today. Anyways, I've got this video that I'm putting up, and I've only had half a cup of coffee, but look at me go. Fully caffeinated. I did 5 videos after my last coffee chat because, you know, I had my hair done, I had my makeup on, I was dressed. So I thought I'm going to go in the kitchen. I got so much going on. I got all these videos that I'm making. One of them was the chaffle video that dropped this week, which if you haven't tried chaffles, you need to try chaffles. They're so good. And so I'm making this video for my French onion soup, and there'll be another one for the Fiesta Ranch beans. Good morning, Carla. So I notice when I'm like this, talking to everybody in my video, I'm great. But when I turn like this or like this, in between video takes, because sometimes you have to wait 45 minutes for something to process, I'd come here and I'd sit back and I'd crochet, and then I'd jump up and run back in the kitchen and film another segment. Well, what I didn't realize is when I sit back here and crochet, the back of the recliner just kind of did one of these on the back of my head. And then I didn't go comb my hair out after. I didn't know it was back there. So in my video, I've got like this total bedhead look when I turn sideways on the camera. And I almost scrapped the whole thing. And I thought, I'll see how many of my friends pick out the fact that I've got a little bedhead going on there in my video for French onion soup. Oh, yes. I won't say it on my chat. It was a bear. It was a bear. And I won't say it on this chat. It was an abbreviation for something that, I mean, like I said, I was 15. I had a 2-hour bus ride to school and back, 2 hours down, 2 hours back every day. And, 13, 14, 15, and you're on the bus with 17 and 18-year-olds, you hear things. And I'd heard this phrase and I didn't know what it meant, but when my husband gave me this little teddy bear, he had gone away on a trip with his family and he came back and he brought me this little teddy bear. And it's like, oh, it's so cute. And I named it. And nobody said anything to me. His brother, who was older, and his brother's wife was with him on that trip. And I noticed when I would say the bear's name, they'd kind of giggle a little bit. I'm like, isn't it a cute name? Isn't it cute that he brought me this bear? And they're like, sure, yeah. And of course, right over my head, I don't know what's going on. And you think you need to know what it was? I will give you the first half of the name that I gave this in a riddle. It's, what is Casper's favorite word? Okay. What is Casper's favorite word was the first part of his name. Don't type it in the thing. Just give me a thumbs up if you get it. The second part of his name was the first word in the band that sings the song Learn to Fly. Daz says he knows it. So Casper's favorite word and the first word in the band that sings the song Learn to Fly. You got it, Daz? Okay, so I would call this bear this. Who is Casper? Casper is a ghost. So, I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to grab my iPad and see if Daz has messaged me. I'm going to see if he tells me what he thinks that poor little bear's name was. While I'm walking around going, oh, look how cute. Look at my little bear. He hasn't said it in chat, so I don't know. On Instagram, he has not told me what he thinks I named that poor little bear. But after an entire weekend of running around, okay, so Oki, if you didn't watch cartoons, all you have to do is think about a ghost. What is a ghost's favorite word? Running around saying this little, oh, look at my little bear. My husband's finally said, you know what my brother told me? And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you shouldn't call your bear that anymore. Don't call your bear that. And I was like, mortified when I found out what I was saying. Growing up very naive, being sheltered from a lot, and then you ride the bus with all the kids down the hill to go to school. You pick up a lot of things. And one of them, another one I'll share with, but I won't actually say, was, like on happy days when they were like, oh, don't be a nerd. They were always saying, don't be a nerd or sit on it, Potsy. They were always saying these little things. I had my time when I was probably 12 or 13. And keep in mind, our community was so small that even the elementary kids ended up part of their bus ride with the high schoolers. We would ride into town, this little town we lived in. All the kids would get on the bus, and then the little kids would get off at the elementary school, which was still up on the mountain. And then the high schoolers had to go off the hill to go to high school. Boy, Margie, you're just full of finding out all kinds of stuff, aren't you? Today is, yes, that, Okie, that was, and I said, don't type, that was the first part of this poor little bear's name. Anyways, um, we'd all go around going, oh, don't be such a nerd and all this. And then I had a new word. And I would say, oh, you're being such a blank term for a phallic object that a 12 or 13-year-old has no idea what it is. And I'm running around going, oh, you're being such a blank. Don't be such a blank. And I'm just using this word. I'm throwing it around like crazy. Crazy. It's okay. You can be lost, Okie. So I don't know how long I was running around telling everybody, don't be a phallic object. And one day I told my mother, I said, oh, Mom, you're being a blank. And my mother just froze. Her jaw gobsmacked, right? She says, I don't think you should be using that word. I said, why? She goes, I don't think it means what you think it means. So, and this is before Google. I don't know. Where do you find out the information for what it is? It's not like I could even go to the resource library at school and look it up and find out what it was. But the kids on the bus educated me as to what it was. Oh, you know what? Did I pick myself up out of next week? My mom, I think if I would have said it to my mom with the full understanding of what it meant, I would have had to pick myself up out of next week. My mom understood that I didn't know what it meant and that I was saying it with the same thing of like, the happy days type of a thing of, oh, you're such a nerd. But the one time I did have to pick myself up out of next week with my mother, this is a story that, I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, my mother's only struck me once. I remember in the 3rd grade, I had heard a prayer at school. And I remember at evening time, my dad would always say grace when we would have dinner. And I went home from school that day and we sat down to dinner and I was so excited because I want to say grace tonight. I want to say grace. I want to say grace. I had a prayer. I was so happy. And my parents were pleased, they were proud that their daughter wanted to say grace, the tender age of 8. And everybody held hands and closed their eyes and bowed their head. And I, in all humility and what's the word I'm looking for? Sincerity. I said in my little voice, good bread, good meat, good God, let's eat. And my mother's hand come flying across that table and smacked me. And then I started to cry because I didn't know what I'd done wrong. But was that blasphemous? Daz, go to sleep. It's okay. You've had a long, long day. It's 2:00 in the morning down under. Please go to bed. I thank you for stopping in and being a mod and dropping links, but you need to go to bed, my friend. You need to go to bed. I had a quickie with Daz on Monday night, so I know he's tired. We exhausted ourselves. So yeah, that's the one time my mother popped me good. Good bread, good meat, good God, let's eat. That's the last time I said grace. It really, truly is. I never said grace again. But I was a check my Instagram. Hang on, Daz. Daz wants me to check the Instagram. Did he get the name right for my little mistake bear? Yes, he did. Okay, we went to the zoo. I took that thing with me to the zoo, and I'm walking around talking about my bear. Anyways, oh yes, I do know what a quickie means. Paul, do you know what a quickie means? See, Paul's like, this poor innocent girl. She has no idea what she's doing. A quickie on Monday nights, Paul, is a rapid fire interview that I have on my channel on Monday nights. It's 10 minutes of rapid fire. So it's a quick interview. So I call it my country mama quickie. We start with foreplay, FOUR, which means that my guest will give us 4 random facts that people on YouTube don't know what about this person. So we start with foreplay, then we have a quickie, and then we open it up for others to join. Isn't that wonderful? And if Ann is still here with the Ann Lynch Show, I had them on for a quickie one time, but they couldn't come over late at night. So we had to have it in the afternoon. So we had an afternoon delight. It's wonderful. So yes, Paul, I know what a quickie means. And Daz came to my house, AKA my YouTube channel, on Monday night, and we had quite the quickie. Always the gentleman. It was wonderful. But he didn't put a 20 in my bun. Anyways. Oh, yes. I know quickie. I know afternoon delight. Anyways, I like to use play on words when I know what I'm talking about, but I did not know what I was talking about when I said that to my mother. Good morning, Tim. Anyways, I was kind of like a second go-round baby. My mom had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old when I was born. And so I grew up with older brothers. So much like riding the bus with a whole bunch of high schoolers. Good morning, Denise. That's another thing I want to tell you guys, because she did put it out on social media and she's putting it here. Everybody send some love to Denise. She's my neighbor and friend. She's faithful coming in here for our coffee chats, and she supports my channel and watches my videos. She's not having a very good time right now, and she's in the hospital, but they're taking very good care of her. So give her a little love and let you know you care. Everybody's saying good morning. Anyways, so I would pick up little things my brothers would say. And my brothers did not speak back to my mother, but they would speak back to each other. They'd say things to each other. And being at the tender age of 6 or 7, I'd pick up on the things they were saying. And one day my mother said something like, oh, pick that up off the floor. And I looked at my mom. I was like, F you. Wow. I don't remember my mother's. I mean, I remember what I said. I clearly remembered what I said when I looked up at my mom and said, F you. And I didn't say F. I said the whole thing. Because my brothers would say it to each other all the time. Like, hey, hand me that thing. And my brother would say, F you. And so I just kind of picked it up. Good morning, Sandy. And I don't remember my mother's expression. I don't remember what she did, but ingrained in my brain, when you have just like a snapshot in time and you can see that snapshot in time? My snapshot in time from that tender young age when I dared tell my mother, F you, 6 or 7 years old, I can still see our bathroom sink. And I can still see the mule team and the mule team pulling on the side of the borax box, Boraxo. My mother washed my mouth out with Boraxo, the powdered soap. And I can still see the team of mules on the side of the box as she reached for it to wash my mouth out. She knocked the sense out of you. That's why you don't remember. Probably. Like I said, I only remember my mother ever physically chastising me once. You ain't alone in that. I said that once to my mother and never again, but you were 14. Could you imagine that coming out of a 6 or a 7-year-old? I'm sure my brothers got a stern talking to after that incident because they had to know that's where I picked up that particular phrase. Um, but I can still see the mules. Oh, thank you, Lisa, for popping in. I'm so glad you're here. We shouted you out a little earlier that you hit your 1K milestone, but yes, she needs some watch hours, guys. So head on over to Lisa's, subscribe, and watch one of her playlists. That would be great. I would get a slap right in the mouth. I don't remember her. I'm sure she probably wanted to fly right off the handle. Can you say soap to the mouth? Oh, soap. And it was powder. You know, my very best friend down in Tennessee, her mother, she was like my mother. She was like my second or third mom. I had a couple of surrogate moms growing up. You know, when you have that one friend and their mom's kind of like your mom. And I went over to their house for the weekend one time. And we were playing the game Sorry. You know, you roll the dice and you go around, and sometimes you get knocked off of where you're at on the board and get sent back to start over again. Carla got whooped almost every day. I got whooped almost every day, but it was from my dad. My mother never struck me except for that one time. But my dad, boy, watch out for my dad. Anyways, holy crud, I forgot what I was saying. Somebody tell me what I was talking about. I really just like completely blanked. What was I saying? Can anybody remember what I was talking about before I got distracted by the trauma of being whooped by my daddy every day? Bye, Chris. I'm glad you're doing so well. Thank you for stopping in. Mom was your disciplinarian. Dad was your paratrooper while you're growing up. My mom could turn anything into a weapon for me. My dad's weapon of choice was the belt. I got the belt a lot. Your mom popped you for sass talking, or that's what I was talking about. My friend's mom. So we were playing this game, and she comes around on the board, doot, 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 and she lands where I land, and she boots me back home, and I stuck my tongue out at her. Oh, that's it. She jumped up. I was saying how I owed you $800, Dad. It's in the mail, friend. It's in the mail. She jumped up out of her chair and grabbed me by the arm and dragged me off to the bathroom. And I'd never been disciplined by somebody else's parents. So this was catching me completely off guard. And she got a bar of soap. And she did not wash out my mouth with the bar of soap. She made me bite the end off of the bar of soap. Right? And I've heard about kids getting their mouth washed out with soap. And of course, I had the whole Boraxo thing. But she made me bite it off. And my friend says I was lucky that all I had to do was bite it off and then spit the chunk out into the sink because her mother made her chew it. So I bit off this bar of soap and I spit it out. And I thought I got off pretty easy because, you know, you get your mouth washed out with bar soap, you can spit stuff out, right? I bit off the bar soap, spit the chunk out into the sink. But you know those little ridges you got underneath the back side of your teeth, those big, big grooves? Maybe mine are bigger than others. That's what she said, because I got big buck teeth. But there was soap stuck up in those grooves up under my teeth forever. You couldn't get it out. It didn't matter how much you got in there and dug. I couldn't get the soap out. And so that mouthwashing lasted a long, 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 long time. I never stuck my tongue out again, ever. But she had the funniest sense of what was acceptable and what wasn't, because you could say, and not that I did often, I'll tell you when I did, but you could say the F word in front of her. You could. And it did not faze her. But heaven forbid you say the word fart. If you said the word fart, that woman was going to get up and drag you into the bathroom and make you bite off a bar of soap. Good morning, Gwen. Carla, are you leaving? Bye, hon. Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Leanne. So you could not say fart. Oh, that would just enrage her. And we were always so stumped that you could say fart, but you could not, no, you could say the F word, but you could not say fart in front of her because she just had a fit. So I did say it. I'd say the other word and I said fart when she was in the hospital. If she was unresponsive, there'd be times that she would be in the hospital and she'd be kind of in and out. And we would say one of those words, we'd say fart just to see if it roused her. Because if you said fart and she was semi-conscious, she'd groan or try to reach for you or something. You knew she was still kind of there. But if she was truly like unresponsive and we go, Mom, fart, 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 and she wouldn't budge, then we knew she was really out for the count. So, I saw something. That's one of the, I'm going to say, if you guys happen to catch my quickie with Daz, there is a question about farts in there and burps. Fart was a cuss word. Yeah, that's right. So, we always knew then that she wasn't feeling well if we would say fart and she didn't respond. So anyways, those are kind of the key things I wanted to hit on today. My grandpa's Bible, finding out I may have a sketchy past. Thanks, Margie, for really, truly, thank you for telling me that before I went on. I could have made a video about it and go, look, and look what it says. And then I'd be in big trouble. I had no idea. I'm still hoping and thankful maybe it meant something before it was used for what you enlightened me to, or in some other way. I don't know. Right, Gail? FK was not a cuss word, but fart was with this woman. It was so funny. So funny. She was a hoot. She's the only person that I've known personally that truly died from a broken heart. She really did. She died from a broken heart. She found the love of her life. He was about 20 years older than her, and he passed away. And when he passed away, she truly lost the will to live. And she passed away at 56. She just didn't want to live anymore. She really she didn't thrive. She didn't thrive. And so at that young age, that's why she's in the hospital going fart, 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 fart. And she didn't do anything. But I never did call her the thing as I called my own mother. Anyways, so that's pretty much it for today, guys. I've missed some things in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well. I've got a new video coming out tomorrow. I hope to have some more fun things for you guys about my wiener. It's true. It's true. Gail, you've got it. Did you miss a sketchy past? Yeah. Unbeknownst to me, kind of, I don't know what's going on. I shared part of my family history and then I got enlightened, and I'm hoping it's not as it appears. That's all I can say. It's all I can say. And I'll leave it at that. But we're going to go to the vet today. You know something I'm thinking of doing? And I've been thinking about it for a long, long time. So I hope nobody will say, hey, so-and-so's doing that, copycat. No. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's something I've been discussing with, hello, Ben's over Acres. It's something I've been discussing with Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farms for months and months and months and months now. And she and I have been discussing it this week. And she's like, why aren't you doing this that you said you were going to do? And my thing is my camera setup. It's like, I want to make sure I have a good camera setup for this thing I want to do. And I tried one time doing this thing I want to do, and the aperture on my camera was kind of going in and out, clear, blurry. And I know I had messed up something in my settings. So the camera app I was using, I deleted it from my phone, and then I was going to put it back in and try to start from scratch. But for some reason, it wouldn't do it. So I was told I needed to delete it and leave it off for 30 days, then put it back on. It's been more than 30 days. But I'm going to upload that open camera app again and see if I can do this and maybe set up something different for what I want to do. But I do want to come on and do some crochet. But I want it to not be, I want to do deep down tutorials to teach people how to crochet. the basics, but I also kind of just want it to be a craft time where I just come on kind of like a coffee chat time and I just crochet and people can grab a hook and join me and I'll discuss the pattern as I'm going and I'll have my patterns available for purchase, things like that. But just know that that'll be coming and I might not wait until I have the perfect overhead camera set up to show my hands and make sure my nails are done and all those things like that. Because nobody wants to watch anybody crochet if they have dirt under their nails. So I always want to make sure I've got a nice little manicure and stuff going. But that'll be coming. I'm going to look at a different kind of setup. I told Lisa, I said, I want to just have a nice little setup where it's homey. And that way, if somebody just wants to tune in and just kind of have some downtime and relaxing crochet, it'll be like that too. I heard hook and join me. I want to come in. What? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, Nisi. I hate to use the word procrastinating, but I've been procrastinating because with this ADHD, I've always got 20 million things flying at me. And then I get distracted and then I get caught up on, I focus. I just get so ingrained on what's not working that I just need to focus on what is working. And I think I'll set something up where it's doable, but not as professional as some of the ones that I see on other YouTube channels. Heading to bed. Bye, Daz. You stuck around 30 minutes longer than you needed to, friend. Go get some sleep. You should see what I have to use to film. Showed it on my last live and peeps were shocked from the arc. I have a semi-smartphone. I don't have a smartphone. I mean, it's a smartphone, but it's really not a smartphone. When I reached 500 subscribers, I bought myself this beautiful gimbal and I thought I had done enough research to see if it was compatible and it wasn't. So I had to send the gimbal back because I could not get it to work. But you know, one of these days I'm looking at, there's something DJI, the company that does the gimbals, the DJI gimbals, they've got something where it's almost like just a regular camera that stays on like a tripod. So I don't have to use my phone. I'm looking into getting something like that. Dawn shoots on a video camera with actual discs. I saw it. Wow. Wow. I know there's sometimes, I'm stealing procrastinating. I've procrastinated all my life, long before I knew Scott, but I will not call it the procrastinating hooker. Or will I? Should I call my little crochet time the procrastinating hooker? I just might, because everybody uses things like happy hooker. I might do a procrastinating hooker. Thanks for the idea, Margie. Oh, that'll be fun. But there's times like when I'm talking with Lisa, it's like, okay, I gotta render and download my video. And sometimes after I render something on this poor little laptop I have, it'll take like 4 hours to render a video. That's what I have, Heatherlyn. That's what I have. Hello, Lena. So, I don't know, maybe I'll get myself that special thing, but I'm also looking at getting one of those tall ring lights with the little gooseneck. So I told Lisa, I kind of want to have it behind me and then coming down over. So when I'm crocheting, people can see that bird's eye view of the stitches I'm doing. Because if any of you have ever crocheted before or tried to learn something before, sitting across from somebody who's teaching you how to crochet kind of gives you that mirror effect where your brain doesn't quite pick up right because you're watching somebody across from you. So their left is my right and blah, 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 blah. So I kind of want to do it overhead and kind of make it nice, but we'll see. We'll see. Good night, Des. You can't get enough of me, can you? You just want to drag it out and drag it out. Go to bed. Go to sleep, my friend. So anyways, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. We've been on for a little while now. I've got just enough time to get my little Harley out to the car and safely drive to the vet. I anticipate a thorough lashing from the vet because he's overweight. And matter of fact, when I took Charlotte to the vet last, when she had her little tear in her ACL, do you guys remember that? In an ice storm, we had to take her to the vet. The doctor said at that time, she goes, she really needs to lose 2 pounds. She was 14 pounds. She needs to lose 2 pounds. So let's work on that. I'm like, okay. So I came home from that vet visit and I told Papa Jim, I said, lay off on the treats. She needs to lose 2 pounds. It's healthy for her legs. Let's not make it worse. Bye, Carla. Thank you for joining us. Bye, bye, Gail. So I took her to the vet for her yearly vaccinations and everything last week. She's 18 pounds. She gained 4 more pounds. And so she says, you've got to lay off on the snacks. It's not me. It's my husband. He's loving these animals to death. And so she says, you got to cut back on the food. I said, okay. Well, he just kind of open range feeds these 4 dogs. He just like throws bowls out and they all just kind of do what they got to do. And bye, Paul. So I was leaving the vet's office and they gave me my receipt for paying the bill. And I said to the receptionist, I said, could you take that paper back and ask the vet to write down how much food she wants Charlotte to have every day, what her feeding schedule should be. So she wrote it on there. And Papa Jim came home from work and I said, oh, the vet sent you a note. You've got a note from the vet. And then I just kind of, mm-hmm. And he read it and he says, oh my God, you threw me under the bus. I didn't throw you under the bus. The scale doesn't lie. That poor little dog gained 4 more pounds. We're keeping her pretty inactive until that ACL heals because we don't want her to have surgery. But I said, you've got to stop. I said, don't worry, I'm taking over. I'm getting these dog crates with feeding bowls in their crates, and they're going to be crated every day for food instead of him open range feeding them. But wait till Harley shows up today. I'm going to come home with another note. I think it's a conditional thing for Papa Jim because, when we were first married, we were so poor. And the first time we had little pets and stuff, we couldn't spoil them. And isn't that what old people do? Calling myself old, I did get my application in the mail for an AARP card. But don't we spoil our pets like kids? Because now we're at the stage where we can afford to do it. So he gets them all kinds of little treats that get delivered to the house. And if they go outside and then they come in, he doesn't give them one little biscuit or 2. He's like throwing biscuits. It's like a game. So I told him, you gotta lighten up a little bit. His little dog that's sleeping over here, May, she waddles when she walks. She got this big old booty. She waddles when she walks. Hello, zombie prepper. So he's going to get another note from the vet today. I know he is telling him, you got to lay off on the snacks on those little things. So my poor little puppies are all chunky monkeys. So I'm going to take him to the vet. And I feel so bad because he's almost completely blind now and he's starting to lose his hearing. At least I know his kidneys work. He's got great kidney function because now he doesn't even know where he's peeing half the time. So I'm always running around the house with Pine Sol in a bucket full of hot water, cleaning up. And we don't get upset with him. We just kind of just like, the day's going to come where we're going to miss it. So we love on him. And he's going to go get his shots and get a check over. And then he gets to go to the groomer next month and get all prettied up because he's just a little shaggy guy right there. So I appreciate you guys showing up today. I had a great time with you. I'm sorry for the things I missed in the chat. Once I start blabbing, sometimes I miss everything going on. But I appreciate my table of 3. Good morning. Welcome. Cat pee smells awful. It's puppy, and I clean up after him every time. And I even have the cleaner. I have Pine Sol, but I have the cleaner that lifts the enzymes, so it's not so bad. He needs puppy depends. Yeah, the poor little guy. And it's sad because he can't even lift his leg anymore. He just stands there. And when it's cold, when it's snow, he'll go right out the door and right there at the welcome mat. He won't even go out into the yard anymore. So my poor baby, but I love him. He's so sweet. He had such a tortured life before we got him, and he was left at a high kill shelter. And his front legs, one of them's been broken and it's crooked. And, I just think he had such a sad little life before he came to us. And I'm so thankful that somebody plucked him up out of that high kill shelter and took him to a little rescue. And they got him fixed and got him chipped and took him to the groomer and got all of his matted hair taken off. And then he was put up for adoption and he was able to come home and live with us. So I love my little Harley. He's so sweet. And he's been with us almost 10 years now. And he was between 5 and 7 when we got him. So he's between 15 and 17 years old. He's an old man. So we will forgive him anything, but we're going to go take him in and get him all checked out. So guys, thank you again. I know I take forever with my goodbyes. I can't help it. I think it's a Midwestern thing. I hope you guys join me on Saturday and again for coffee chat next week. I think I might bump my time down to this 8:30 time slot. Because it forces me to get up and get dressed and have my coffee a little earlier. And I think maybe this is a good way to start the time. So till I talk to you guys again, take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a blessed day. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really, truly appreciate it. Bye, guys.